Hi, Aaron Fulk. How are you doing?
Dude, it's weird outside.
Yeah, no. For those that may tune in at another time, Kansas City is currently under a tornado warning with a couple of tornadoes touching down. So,
But we're so dedicated
to Evardy Construction and Bestway International
that we're here hosting the show in the midst of a tornado warning.
I have a neighbor down the street. She's doing a interview panel of a new sales candidate, and she's doing it from her bathroom. So, you know what? Times are hard, but people in the Midwest, we work through it.
Can you even imagine doing this pre-COVID? Never.
No, never. Yeah, everyone would have been off and not doing anything. But to the south, there's a little bit of rain-wrapped clouds. So that's something is people in the background, if you can't see it coming in the Midwest, you seek shelter.
Yeah, and also if you have to go to your basement during this, just come back and watch later. Make sure.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
Story is recorded.
Seek some shelter that Evardy Construction built for you. And I will tell you, I was at the Down Syndrome Guild and Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I'll tell you what, they got some strong foundations because of Evardy.
I like it. And I went to lunch yesterday with Riley from Bestway International.
Oh my God. Well, he brightens up everyone's day. He's very positive, very kind. I know he and Jay just had an award ceremony where they honored some of their associates. So everyone's happy go lucky, but we need to check in with Evardy Construction today. I'll shoot him a text after the show because their homes, they live far out south.
Yeah, check on them for sure. Okay, so because of the tornado warnings, we're going to go down to one guest today. We're going to switch it up today. But before we do that, I need to know, it looks like people are watching. I get to see some numbers right here.
All right.
So, who are you? What do you do? Tell us right here in the comments. Are you watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube? We want to know who is sheltering in place with us right here at Drinks with Leaders. So talk to us over here in the comments. But we're going to switch it up a little bit today because our guest today is actually what I like to call on the market, right? And somebody could really, really, really be watching the show and get an amazing team member if they're doing this right. So we want you to meet her. This is always something I've wanted to do, and we've never done it with this show. But I think it's cool sometimes. The economy is changing. Creative world is changing a lot. And so jobs are shifting. So some of the best people out there are available right now. So let's introduce our guest. You got anything else?
No, our guest is amazing. I literally was chatting with her and said, you should do this, and boom. So in my mind, I'm referring her to anyone and everyone.
Anyone and everyone. No.
Bah!
I don't like any of them. I'm trying to find a different music to get her in. These are the worst. Okay, we're good. This is why we always end up with this, Abby. Worst. I'm going to have to add this. All right, and today, our guest is Abby Depot.
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yay, Abby.
Hi, Abby. How are you?
Good. Just living the Midwest life, the dream. I've got tornado sirens going off. I've got some rain in the midst, but I'm happy to be here. Glad I can attend.
Well, I know there's people watching you. I don't know why they're not telling us in the comments because I can see that they're watching. But
awesome.
We are hoping that as many people that can share this out today, and so many people get to be. So, Abby, we are going to start with those questions you were sent. Awesome. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
I love it. So, who am I? I'm a young professional here in Kansas City, born and raised in the Northland. I'm a Mizzou Tiger, so I know that'll ruffle some Jayhawk feathers, but we're good. But no, for the last 7 years, I've been in licensing and product development at Hallmark. So I've loved my time, but a lot of other companies these days, they've been doing some reorgs, layoffs. So I have been afforded the opportunity to think about what's next in my career journey. So that's where I'm at now. And I started back at Hallmark post-grad from Mizzou. I actually interned with Hallmark, then I started full-time. And I relocated to Seattle. So the beautiful Pacific Northwest,
Really?
similar weather to today. But I was sent to Seattle to basically grow the customer relationship with Amazon. So the boots on the ground, so to speak. And I was there for a few years building that business, and then came back to headquarters in KC in 2020. So COVID, global pandemic, supply chain, and craziness during 2020. But it was awesome to move back to where my family was and get some new experience. But most recently, the last 3 years, I've been a licensing and business development account exec. So basically working on awesome accounts like Paramount, the NFL, working together on product development, marketing campaigns, brand growth. If any of you saw the Hallmark Chiefs movie, for example, that was something that my awesome team worked on. Or I'm sure you have some Mickey Mouse Christmas ornaments on your trees, or some cards that you give out to kids that have little characters on it. That was my really awesome team. So basically, cross-country move, did some things in between, got my MBA down the street from UMKC last year, and here I am today.
Now, Abby, if you had to pick one project that was your favorite, which one would it be and why?
Oh my goodness, so many. About a year into my tenure on the licensing team, I was given all of our sports accounts. And so I grew up loving sports. I love Kansas City sports. There's something that's really neat about having your personal interest intersect with your job. And so one of my favorite things was 2 years ago. Remember when the NFL draft was in Kansas City?
Yeah.
So we got to go to the draft, and we actually got to host all of the new rookies. So the NFL rookies that were being drafted, we hosted a group of them at headquarters. So we had them in for a tour. We told them all about licensing. We gave them big tips on what it's like to grow up. We had some players come and do some games and trivia. And my one claim to fame is that I got to meet Roger Goodell. And that was just the coolest opportunity to just spend time with the product that we were making, but also the people that go on the product. So I loved getting to work on something that it may not be my everyday job, but it was something that was really special and unique, and we got to have a lot of fun.
Okay, so you went to school. Remind me what you said earlier. Where did you go to school for?
Business marketing.
So where did you, like, when you first started in that journey, where did you see yourself? Like, what was your dream job? What did that look like?
It's funny that you asked that, because in college, I would have said, I love people, but that's not really a unique skill set. Everyone loves people. Well, here I am 7 years later, realizing not everyone wants to be on the front line of a relationship for their job. And I've learned, 7 years later, that's still what I love. And I've always been told maybe the sales route, maybe the customer route. But I think in college, I knew I wanted to surround myself with people. And I think that's where I am now, still with that same passion.
Yeah, Erin, everyone's got that story of, like, someone telling Erin Fulk she can't do a marketing company, and she does it. I had 2 interviews where people laughed at me because I said, what was your greatest asset? And I said networking and connecting. And they're like, well, that's not an asset.
Well,
and I didn't get those jobs. But yeah, there are jobs out there, Abby, that do that. And so for you, you talked about your favorite project of intersecting what you love and what you don't love. Are you motivated by people that tell you you can't do something? Or are you motivated by people that tell you you can do something?
Probably a little bit of both. I think the competitive nature in me, if I hear that I can't do something, I want to go do it. But I think the wisdom in my head says, do what you're passionate about, do where your skills are, go where your strengths are. I remember a couple years into my career, I was talking to a mentor of mine about our strengths. And, you do the strengths finder quest. And one of my top qualities was woo. I don't know if you guys know it. It stands for winning others over. And I wanted to retake the test. I go, no, I want detail-oriented, analytical, all the things that, you need for a job. And those are a part of the strengths too. But my top one was working with people. And I saw that and I'm like, okay, I need to go where my strengths lie, and everything else at all, you can do it. But life is more fun, more enjoyable when you start pursuing what you're passionate about, what you're good at. And it's been really cool to see where that's landed me.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, how long ago did you take that test?
Oh gosh, that was, I took it in college. I took it probably 3 years ago.
Okay. Did it line up the same between the two?
Good question.
That's like a nature nurture type of question. And I'll tell you, and yeah, it lines up. It lines up pretty good. I think there's certain skills that get developed over time, but there's certain like innate skill sets that still ring true. And you asked in college, what did I want to be? And I had no idea. Like, I didn't even know licensing was a thing.
Right.
I got interviewed for my Hallmark internship, and the gal who was interviewing me, she was the VP of licensing. And she said she did licensing at Hallmark. I go, like, a driver's license? And she had to explain to me, hey, here's what it is. And it's basically us going to that licensor, so the Disney, the Warner Brothers, the NFL, and saying, hey, we want to put your IP on our product. So the Patrick Mahomes on a Christmas ornament or SpongeBob on a greeting card. And so I always knew that that was a really neat job that maybe I saw like 10 years down the road for me. But yeah, just a couple years ago, I got to join the team, and I realized, like, oh, this is where some passion is, and this is where some excitement is, and this type of job is the kind of work that I want to keep doing.
Scott, ask your like pre-planned question, because I got a couple questions that I think will go good after that.
Okay.
This is a doozy and it's a long one. What was the most pivotal point in your career?
Honestly, Scott, I think I'm in it. Like, I think this is such a pivotal moment. You always hear stories of people that say that the surprising moments are what redirect you. And sometimes you listen to that and you say, okay, like I'll think about it. But when it happens, I mean, this is an opportunity. I loved Hallmark. It was an awesome job, a career that I thought I would stay at forever. But this has been like a jolt of like, hey, Abby, there's something else out there. And so I think this is a pivotal moment. But if I think back on my years that I have been walking through post undergrad, I mentioned I moved to Seattle right after graduation for our Amazon work. And I think that was really pivotal. I mean, there's something about being 22, uprooted from the Midwest and put in a city that, I mean, I knew nothing about. And getting to grow, I mean, you grow professionally when you're there for a job, but also growing personally. I think that it set a foundation that even though it was so soon into my career, I feel like it was pivotal in the sense that it set me on this trajectory of, okay, I know who I am as a person. You're always going to keep learning and growing, but it sets the foundation for who you are as a person. And then also, what do I like? What am I good at? What do I want to aim for? And the pivotal moments like I'm in now kind of redirect that. But I think that was the one that I look back to and I'm really thankful for.
Okay, that was perfect answer for my questions.
Oh, well, then give me your questions. Maybe I have something new.
My son just left in the middle of a tornado watch. Should be fine.
He's so smart. What a graduate senior. Just like, Mom, you can't stop me right now. You're doing a show.
Very strategic.
That's exactly.
That would be his strength test.
Entrepreneur.
Yep, entrepreneurial. Yep, that's him.
Okay. He must have heard me because
So Abby, as Aaron regains her thoughts. Oh, you're ready.
I'm ready. Yeah, he just sent a text. He must have heard us because he said not raining right now. Maybe he watches this show. Who knows? Okay. So here's my question, and I'm not trying to make light of any of this, but I love your attitude. What really went on? One, did you know this was coming? So were you mentally prepared? Or was it a surprise, like you just said? And then what was that emotional journey, right? Because I don't think we talk about that. I think you're answering this exactly how you're supposed to. There's a lot of people going through it right now.
Yeah.
And it's
so given all of the headwinds in the world right now, I mean, Microsoft's doing layoffs, Amazon's doing layoffs. I have these friends at these companies who you think are foolproof, And everyone is reorganizing how they have their company structure to make it more profitable. And so, yeah, we were given a heads up at Hallmark saying, hey, there are some changes that need to be made. I mean, you always have a little bit of hope that it's not going to be you, but I remember I got the notification and I went on a walk and I'm like, you know what? Like, and this, like, genuinely, I know you said I had like the perfect answers, but it has been such a neat reality to realize, like, how do we respond in these tough scenarios? And I feel a lot of sadness and just like mourning of like what I thought my career was going to look like. But also like when it's so like I said, like jolting like this, like, hey, here's something that you would never have planned for yourself. I don't think there's any mistakes in this world. And so I look at it as cool. Like there's something else out there. And a lot of people are handling things very differently. But yeah, like I said, half of myself is like, oh, like these are some of my best friends. Like this is a company that it was like such a pride point to put on my resume as like the hometown card company. Yeah. But I feel like I've gotten such great experience. I mean, the cross country move, getting my MBA, literally making friends that like will be at my wedding. And also like, I think in my years of kind of growing up, I mean, I'll be 30 next year. Like in the last decade, I've learned that we don't have much control over things in our life. And so I get to kind of ride whatever wave I get put on. And I really do trust that whatever's next will be really great. It'll be totally different than I expect. But that's where there's like a little bit of freedom to say, okay, like I get to move forward, trusting that something else is out there. And yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of people have so many different opinions, thoughts. Like there's, I think, all stages of grief in something like this, but I'm kind of taking the perspective of new horizons, world is my oyster, what's ahead. I mean, I think that's where I'm at.
Okay, so let's talk about what's ahead. So now in perfect world, because we talked about what perfect job looked like in college. Now in perfect world, if somebody said, oh gosh, I just love seeing you on this, Abby, I want to give you your dream job. What does your dream job look like?
I love that. So kind of fun fact in this interim time. I mean, it was my last day at Hallmark was 2 weeks ago. I got to take some kids to summer camp last week, and we had like a little breakout session that was like, what is your calling? And it talked about, there were different like steps to think through it. And it's like, what are you good at? What do you enjoy? Like, what is a desire that's in you that like other people have affirmed you in? So other people have said, hey, Erin, you're really good at X, or hey, like you should consider this. And so I think it's neat because in the last few days, I've been thinking about it from that lens, like kind of what's next, what path should I be taking, realizing like what paths do I not want to take. And I think through each of my little buckets of experience at Hallmark and like who I am outside of Hallmark. So what I'm involved in the community or what I've really liked from those jobs, I realized that, like I said, I felt in college, I love the like external partnership piece of a job. And so whether that's licensing, whether that's account management, like looking at those strategic ways to get one company's need and another company's need to a solution, it's definitely going to be that external partnership. Licensing would be awesome. Sports would be awesome. Working with people to get to a solution that benefits both sides. So it sounds a little generic, but I think I kind of get to look at what are those opportunities in reality outside of like this Hallmark world that I've been living in, and look at what is there in Kansas City that I get to be excited about. And I think with any of it, it's going to be that external partnership piece.
And then I guess what steps are you making? You know, I'm always really impressed with people that don't just go like when they go out of their way to find those dream jobs. What steps are you making in trying to figure this out, like and find your dream job? I know it's only been a week, but
no, I know. I'm like, it's only been a couple weeks. I mean, I think, like I mentioned, thinking about, okay, if the world really is like a blank canvas, what do I like? Who do I know? And I think it's just coming from conversations. I've taken any opportunity to say, hey, if you have a thought that may not be the job that I'm going to take, but a thought of here's a road I could go down, or here's a connection that I can talk with, I want to talk to people. So I've been filling my days with chatting with old friends, new friends, connections from my licensing days. I had a call with the NFL last week. Talked to someone yesterday about, something brand new that came up, someone I had never met before. So I've been really taking those opportunities to build that network where I feel like I have a pretty good network in the realm that I've been kind of sitting in for the last several years. But I think right now it's going to be building out my network outside of that and just talking to people about what opportunities do they see, what opportunities do they have, and just like information gathering so that whenever there is a job opening, let's say at Garmin or Rally House or VML, I'm going to have some insight already so that I can jump in and say, hey, I'm excited about this job and I know a little bit too.
Love that. I love that.
Aaron, I have a question for you. Not Abby, but Aaron, did you ever think that you were, and you're an entrepreneur now, but you have a marketing mind. Did you ever think that you were not in sales or you couldn't do sales, Aaron?
Well, I was always
young.
a person
Correct.
starting my agency. So I think, that's part of why I'm asking this, is because I think Abby will be an insane salesperson. And I know
people keep telling me that. And I have
that's weird. You just talked about when people keep telling
you. We're just maneuvering you. There, look at that. See, I set it up so it was indirect. It wasn't me.
So part of my reasoning was asking is to try to see. So I think that salespeople and account manager are one and the same type of personality.
Yeah, I think so too.
You manage that relationship. You have to set expectations and keep expectations. Yep. Usually you're not doing the grinding of the back end operational work.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's one and the same very often. But I think that when you open up your mind to sales, the possibility of jobs, you then get to own a lot of your job, right? Sales is usually a numbers driven game where you either meet your numbers or you don't. So you get a little bit of ownership of that. And then also opportunity is my friends that are in sales, specifically some tech sales and stuff like that. Their opportunity is endless because whenever they go to switch, it's because they're just being inundated with offers because it's so hard to find a salesperson. So I want you to know.
It's so funny you say that. I kid you not. Like I could fill up my whole hand with people who have told me that in the last week and a half. And
you're magnetic. You're magnetic. And that's the first part of the game.
You're sweet. You're sweet. I appreciate that.
And I'm being really honest here. There's more than ever, but there's still very few women salespeople compared to men salespeople in a lot of different of the high money making sales jobs. Yep. And when you have a great personality, like at one point I sold windows and I absolutely hated windows, but I did the best because there was very few women, right?
Yeah.
But it designs most houses, right? So
you need a window in a house, Exactly. Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, I think you need to open yourself up to that for sure.
Yeah. I think sales is definitely on the radar. And in college, I took a sales class. Even getting my MBA, I took a sales class and I really liked it. It's something that at least in my past life, I always thought sales is probably going to be a next step. So yeah, I'm open to it for sure.
And the truth is everything is sales. Everything is sales, right? But while
There's
you're
a little bit of sales and everything.
You're pulling yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is you. Erica says, hi guys.
Hi, Erica.
So, you calling me is a cold call. You jumping on this show.
Tell us that story. Tell us that story about how we met circa 2 weeks ago.
Well, it's just, I meet people. I've met 3 people today that are looking for something new. So I'll be having a conversation with them. So, in general though, it's, I do, we talked about it offline, but in general for the audience, you got to put together a top 10 list and it's throwing spaghetti against the wall and it's seeing what's sticking. And then it's really just figuring it out. But it's the classic, if you put your dreams on paper, they're more likely to come true. And most friends are going to flatter their friends because they're nice people and no one's good enough for them and they deserve to do it, makes them happy. But sometimes you just got to go make a bunch of cold calls like this.
Totally.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay,
totally.
so Abby, here's what I want to ask. What is the
Yeah.
best way to reach out to you if somebody would like to network with you,
Yep.
interview you, offer you something? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Abby Peoples, MBA, because that's really marketable. But no, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on there every day. I feel like it's become my new Facebook marketplace.
Yeah.
I get up and I scroll to see what's new. But yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to shoot me a message. You can also send me an email. It's abbypeoples2@gmail.com. So ABBY and then people with an S at gmail.com. So you can shoot me an email. You can shoot me a message on LinkedIn. And like I said, my goal right now is build a network, see what I don't know is out there, make some connections. If you have openings, I'd love to hear about it. Or even if it's just a company you think I'd really enjoy and there aren't openings right now, I would love to hear about that too.
I'm just going to give you a quick LinkedIn tip, and this is for everybody watching. I don't disagree that the MBA is marketable. I would put that as the first part of your headline while you're looking for a job, and not in your name, because when you put it in your name, it dilutes your Google search.
Sounds good. I'll do that.
Yeah. And then when you're not looking for a job anymore, then start with your headline, some sort of hook. But that way it'll show up in feeds.
Cool.
So awesome. Okay. Anything last minute? Abby, if people can remember one thing, what would you want them to remember about you?
Man, thanks for remember one thing. I'm really excited about what's next. I think that is like I said, it's a rare feeling to have when you're put in a position like this, but I am just really looking forward to whatever the next chapter is. So yeah.
Well, your energy is very magnetic, and I think whoever ends up with you, this is when I'm kicking myself as an entrepreneur that I don't have the capacity right now. I want to build a company so big that when I run into someone awesome, I'm like, please, we got you.
Yeah, no, Abby, you, don't sleep on sales. Start going on some sales interviews.
Okay. If anyone wants to connect on sales, give me a call and we can discover some things.
Perfect. Thank you so much to Bestway International and Evardy Construction for sponsoring. Thank you, Scott, for being a great co-host. We will see you same time, same place, less tornadoes next week. Bye, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See ya.